Hey everyone, Pyramid INTELL. This channeling is about spaces in between. Right now I'm sitting at a space in between to do this channeling. And the one in particular that I'm referring to is the space between being asleep and being awake. It's a really hard space to hold when you're not in the habit of doing it. It takes a lot of practice. But this is where you'll find a lot of answers and a lot of information. It's a great place to start to really explore other states of being, different frequency bands. Everyone knows that when you go to sleep, you go into a completely different space. And you're doing completely different things, and you will receive a lot of messages when you're sleeping, a lot of information in your dreams, as well as their access points for you. But it can be difficult to jump from awake, conscious, to the unconscious sleep state, and it can be hard to decipher messages. So a very valuable place to go is the space right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up. Those are extremely powerful places. They are access points. Now, forgive me because I am in this state right now. I'm not really clear, but I think it was Einstein who said that drew attention to all the spaces in between. If it wasn't Einstein, it was Tesla. But that's where all the magic happens. And there's a reference to the secret of time travel. It has to do with the speed of light. And they have cameras now that can capture the light. Okay. They have cameras that can capture light traveling, and it doesn't travel in a straight line. It travels in a broken line. I don't know what the word is for that, but instead of like a straight line, when you see a dot, not a dot, a dash, and then an empty space, and a dash, and an empty space, that's what light actually looks like when it travels. It's not an unbroken line, it's that broken line. And time travel has something to do with accessing that empty space in between the breaks of the light line. So when you access this space in between conscious and unconscious, it's the same idea. It's the same kind of space. You can get a lot of information when you're in this space, and you can hear messages very easily. Now that everyone's having light code activations, they're starting to have communications and receive messages, but it's kind of hard to differentiate between your own thought processes and incoming information. So this is a place where you can receive messages and information and tell the difference. This is where you can start to explore that. The only problem is because it's so transitory, it can be difficult to hold it for very long or to retain that information. So what this is all about is simply breaking programs and getting control of your brain. Making new programs, getting control of yourself. So set your intention, on staying in that space or retaining the information or achieving something while you're there. You want to set those intentions before you go to sleep. There are a lot of people already doing that. Well, start setting intentions for this space in between as well. I found it to be one of the most effective places to grow and to learn to distinguish. This is a great exercise. The first time I ever consciously heard and received and felt, how you get your information may be different for everyone. You might hear it, you might feel it, you might see it, you might just know it. And you might have any combination of those things. My very first experience with a communication from someone from another realm happened exactly in this space, right before I was falling asleep. It was a really long time ago. I was a kid. But how did I achieve it? I had an encounter with another being, and it was really scary for me. So after working through that, I wanted to have another interaction with that being. And I was trying everything from a conscious state to make that happen, and nothing was happening. Because I had the first interaction from a fully conscious state, which can be a lot to process. So, wasn't happening, but I was trying. I really wanted it really bad, and so that set my intention, that set my attention. And then as I gave up and one day I started to fall asleep, that's when it happened. And it was very easy and very natural, and it wasn't scary or overwhelming, and it was very clear. And luckily, after falling asleep and then waking up again, I remembered everything really clearly because I had such a clear intention. So that's how it works. That's how it works, and it will help you a lot, I believe. And while I'm here and there's something else coming into my mind. I'm lying on the floor in the crystal room in my house. This is not my bed, but I often sleep here because of all the reasons I just told you. And last night, I had the intention of filming Pyramid INTELL, giving this message, and when I was setting everything up, I just did not want to hold it. I wanted to go to sleep. So I honored myself and I allowed myself to just go to sleep. So I felt that's what I needed to do. The thing that I like most about being single and not having responsibilities with any other people is the ability to be in the now. Because we all know the value of that. It can be really difficult when you have responsibilities with other people and regular jobs and things like that. This is why travel is so often recommended, because it takes you out of routines. Because routines are programs, and it forces you to be in the now. It's stimulating to your brain, and it breaks programs, and so it allows more flow through, which flow is information, electricity, and it brings you forward with creative ideas and energy and all sorts of things like that, and creating new files. But you can do the same thing without traveling, but it takes conscious effort, such as what I'm talking about now, bringing yourself into new spaces, consciously breaking programs, setting intentions. You have to work at it, where when you're traveling, it just happens out of necessity. Try to be intentional, and then also respect the now, such as instead of forcing myself to do what I had intended to do and following through with it, I allowed my natural cycles. I went with my body's needs, in that moment. I decided to respect my body and my mind for being tired and wanting to go. And I did that. And then normally when you wake up in the morning, your intention is to get up and do this or get up and do that or start whatever that routine is. And I decided to stay right here on the floor and not get up and do anything. You know, like maybe like check my face, put on some makeup, wash it, I don't know. I didn't do any of that. I changed my program. I changed my normal way of doing things. And I did it right here on the floor. There's great value in that. The spontaneity of everything. It does good things for your brain. And even now I'm having a really hard time, before I turned on the camera, of holding that space. You know, I kept drifting. I drifted off to sleep a few times. It's a difficult space to hold, but there's value in it. And then for the light rays, who are aware of the fact that we are in psychological warfare. Everyone else might want to leave now. This might be a little too woo-woo for you. Everyone's in psychological warfare. They just have a lack of awareness. And we always have been. And I'm speaking for myself as well. Once I became aware of it, I made a conscious choice to function in that and to learn and to be a warrior in that zone and to acquire information through my own personal battles and to bring them back for everyone else who may want that information. So here are some tips. When you break patterns of programming, doing things in exactly the same way at the same time, there are people that are tracking you so that they can access your points of weakness, your vulnerabilities, which would be the spaces in between that I'm talking to you about right now. They want to know when you're waking up, when you're going to sleep, what your patterns are, when you eat, when you do this, when you do that, because then you know your spaces in between, which are your transitional points. Those are points of interest, clearly, right? Change them up. Change them up. I have been out of patterns for such a long time and enjoying it that I'm really hard to track now. I couldn't even tell you if my life depended on it because I'm not patterned. I don't have a pattern. This is my strength. This is my strength and has been my strength. I'm in a position where I have the ability to do that. It puts me in a natural flow and access to brainwave patterns. And it also, so it helps me be in the now and to carry a certain level of awareness. And it also makes me really difficult to target to my enemies. Things that you can do, regardless of where you are with your patterning, don't do things in the same way every day. You may have to appease other people in your house and responsibilities, but don't go to the same supermarket. Don't go to the same gas station. Don't eat the same foods. Don't cook the same way. Use different herbs and ingredients. Change up the things that you put on your body. Change the oils that you use on your body. And most importantly, change your protective routines and ingredients. And light rays know exactly what I'm talking about. All of your tools, your symbolism, all of these things that you vary in your protection rituals. All of these physical things have a frequency band. It's like they have an identifying print of frequency, kind of like your fingerprint. You also have a frequency band that is your baseline imprint. Okay, it identifies you in the frequency world just like your fingerprint will identify you in the physical world. By changing the physical protection symbols that are embedded with your baseline frequency, you're not as easy to track. You are changing up your baseline frequency imprint, if that makes sense. When you change nothing, you're very identifiable. So this will help you stay in the now and stay under the radar. If you combine that with changing up all your entry and exit points, sleep schedules, routines physically, then you have become much less trackable, much less accessible. And you'll be able to continue on your ascension journey without having to pull arrows out, okay? So I know this was really long. I'm not talking very fast. Hopefully my mic was working and you can hear me. Someone will find this valuable. Pyramid Intel. I love you very much. Have a great week. This is a great time to be really giving it your all and enjoying the whole process as we surge toward the 8-8 portal. Enjoy the ride, okay? Enjoy the ride. It's going to be great. I love you. Bye.